Well, hello, you trumpet-faced bumfarters. How are you? Are you doing okay? Oh, well, here comes a review, flying straight to you, about a game called Pod, or PO'd, or Pissed Off. It's a bit of a weird game. You go a sheaf, and you get a frying pan at the start of the game to batter things with. Very trippy. Not really sure of the, level designs. They're a bit, odd. Bit like myself, This was a game that was designed for the 3DO back in the day. Remember the 3DO? No, nobody else does either. But it eventually came out in the PS1 because the 3DO bombed like a big dirty nappy. And I'll tell you for why it did that, because it was £700. £700 for a game where you battered what looked like farting arses on legs with a frying pan. No thank you. But, Night Dive then got a hold of it some thousands of years later and gave it a nice wee reshuffle, a nice wee coat of paint, made it full screen, 16 by 9, in fact it's probably more than 16 by 9. I think that's where you've got borders in the top and bottom of your screen. I don't know, right? I'm just saying. And then it fucking squeaked out onto the big machines, machine-like things that play games, the big VCR boxes and the big light and the graphics are smashing. The game is it's a very strange game because you can look up and down. The levels are 3D, thank God the levels are 3D, otherwise I'd have been vomiting. I remember when Duke Nukem 3D came out on the old Xbox 360 and it wasn't 3D levels, it was the ones that warp when you look up and down. Half the screen would go up and half the screen would go down and my stomach would just lurch. It would lurch like that big arsehole at the Addams Family that plays that fucking noise. So gladly they've got 3D levels, but the walls are paper thin. It's like, you'll no see them. If you're walking towards a wall, you will no see it until you're hitting the side of it, because they're paper thin. It's weird. I don't understand why. Maybe that was just to save on, performance and disk space and all that. And it's like a drawing. It's like a 2D drawing that you do on a pad with a pencil, remember that? Before you got all the fancy technological shite. And let's talk about the enemies, shall we? The levels are a bit pish. I don't like them. Enemies, you've got what I've said before, like my favourite is the walking arses that fart at you. Aye. And then you've got pairs of lips that run about with big sharp teeth. And then you've got these really, really annoying flying enemies. And there's a couple of types. There's the wee green bats that I can barely fucking see. And then you've got the red things that fire but look like false teeth. Sharp false teeth at you. They take ages to kill. And the weapons in this game aren't good. They're pish. But for some reason I can't stop playing this fucking heap of jobby. Then you've got these enemies that look like, they kind of remind me of like imps for Doom, only they've got these sort of guns on their arms. And they're an annoying pain in the arse as well, but at least when you kill them you get bullets after them for your ray gun pistol thing, so that's not so bad. And then you've got turrets that fire rockets at you. They're fine, they're just domes that fire rockets and you eventually get your rocket launcher. And then you've got these piles of green snotterinos. And beware when you kill these, because if you walk over them, even when they're dead, they'll damage you. Quite like that, actually. It's a nice wee detail. Oh, lovely wee detail. That's all I can remember enemy-wise. I'm sorry, there's just... I don't even think it's a particularly long game, because I was looking at the trophies, and you can speedrun it in 20 minutes. You get a trophy if you do that. Speedrun it in 20 fucking minutes. So, how many levels has this game got? 10? It's probably about 2 hours long, tops. But I die that many times, a 2 hour game turns into a 30 hour game, you know what I mean? So that's not a bad length, It took you nearly a lifetime to finish it in comparison to everybody else, but it's no bad. Okay, let's talk about the weaparinos, and various other things, like how you're walking about barefoot in the game, and then if you want to run, there's a run button. You suddenly put on green trainers or sneakers, and that's really weird because why can you run faster when you've got shoes on than when you've got them off? But how does that affect the speed you go at? Why is he walking about barefoot? Why? And then like the second or third level you get a jetpack, which is wonderful. The jetpack is actually really bloody useful. It's nice when you activate it and you skirt past a bunch of enemies and you go around behind them, but it doesn't matter if you go behind them because they're 2D, so they don't really ever really look away from you. And then you kill them, and then you get really seasick. Motion sick, I suppose. Seasick. The hell did I say? Why did I say seasick? I've never been in the ocean. That's a lie. Technically, I've really been on estuaries. I've never actually been in the open sea in a boat, okay? So let's just not get shut up! So your weapons are like frying pan, ray gun, a flamethrower. Now watch when you're using a flamethrower because it uses up the energy for the jetpack. Wonderful. Love that. Shared ammunition. Even Doom's guilty of that. What else? An Uzi that looks nothing like an Uzi, but it says Uzi. I don't know what it looks like. A fucking ice cream cone for the 90s. And a rocket launcher, and that's all I've got. That's what I've got. That's what I've got to play with. The rocket launcher is only good on enemies that don't move. Because the minute you've fired it, they move out the way. And the rockets are that fucking slow. Nah, that's pish. I hate the rocket launcher. It's absolute shite. So the only guns really worth using are the ray gun and the Uzi. And then just try to fire at things because everything moves at a mile a minute. Moving to aim to shoot down the wee green bats, the red flying false teeth things. It's an absolute fucking frustration, and I was getting right pissed off with it. It was like, that way you get frustrated, you just want to snap your gamepad in half. Aye, kind of like that. Anyway, I've talked enough pish about this game. It's actually fun. Very weird. You're going to get motion sick if you suffer from it, so beware. And the levels are a bit shite. Okay, right, see you later.